Alright. طيب شباب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Last time يا شباب we were talking about we talked about the phase diagram or the pressure temperature diagram, and we also talked about the TV diagram. So for the phase diagram we said that this diagram shows the three different phases: solid, liquid, and vapor phase regions. Okay. We also it shows that the different phase change lines, okay, between any of these two phases, which are basically the melting, the vaporization, and the sublimation. Okay. And we also said during the phase change, the temperature and pressure are called the saturation temperature and saturation pressure. Okay. So this is just a quick overview of the phase diagram. For the TV diagram, ya shabab, we said that the main feature of a TV diagram is this dome, which shows the two-phase saturated liquid vapor mixture. Okay, and we said also this diagram shows the five different states, which is the liquid state, or also it has a name, compressed liquid. We call it compressed liquid or subcooled liquid. Okay, so compressed liquid or subcooled liquid. Then we also have this saturated liquid line, this line here. Okay, we call it on the left side of this dome. This is the saturated liquid line, which is basically it's at the saturated temperature and pressure, but we still have 100% liquid. And we also have so this is second state. The third state is the liquid vapor mixture or the saturated mixture. And then also we have this line here, which is called the saturated vapor line. Okay, this is saturated vapor, where we still add the saturated temperature and pressure, but we have 100% vapor. And then eventually, after this, beyond this line, is what we have. We call it superheated vapor. Superheated vapor. So these are the five different states that this diagram shows, and these are mainly the five states that we will be working at. So depending on each state, I can find all other properties related to that state. Okay. We also said, ya shabab, that in the TV diagram, in a TV diagram here, we have these lines. Okay, so we have certain lines that we see that they are increasing in the single phase region, okay, like this, and they are constant or horizontal in the two phase region. These lines are the constant pressure lines. Constant pressure line. What does that mean? معناته لو رسمنا التي في diagram مثلا ورسمنا الدوم, so this is the dome, so I can draw it like this. If I tell you that I have a process and it goes from P1 1 bar, for example, until P2, which is مثلا 20 bar, just an example. Show this, for example, process on the TV diagram. Alright, so this is a process from P1 to P2, from 1 bar to 20 bar. Let's say, for example, it's the volume, the specific volume is P1 equal to P2. Okay, and let's say also this equals to let's say 1 meter cube per kilogram, and this is in the saturated mixture region. Okay, let's say this is a saturated mixture state. So this is, I'm giving you this. Okay, so how can you plot this process? So you said we see that it has two pressures, and I know for each pressure I have a constant pressure line, and the trend is increasing with volume. So what I would do is I plot the first pressure line. Let's say this is P1, and then I plot P2 like this, This is now my P2. And then this is V1 equal to V2. So basically I have, and this is saturated mixture, so I know it's in the middle, inside the dome. So I have a vertical line like this. So this state 1, let's say this is state 2, and then I plot this process on the diagram. So this is how you can look at this constant pressure line. Let's say I have another process. Let's say I have P1 equal to P2 equal to 1 bar. Okay? And for example, V1 equal to 1 or 10 meter cube per kilogram, and V2 equal to 20 meter cube per kilogram. And assume that, for example, V1 is a saturated vapor state. Saturated vapor state. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna go to state 1, okay? So it's saturated vapor state, and the pressure is 1 bar, so I would go, where can I go? Here, because this is saturated vapor, okay? It's not saturated mixture, it's not vapor only or superheated, it's saturated vapor, so this is state 1. Now state 2 is the pressure at 2 same as the pressure at 1. معناته I will walk through the process is gonna be along the constant pressure line until V2. So I know that V2 will be somewhere higher than V1. So this is 2, and this will be my process in this case. So this is a constant pressure process in this example. So this is, ya shabab, how you can look at this TV diagram and these different 5 states and these constant pressure lines. أي سؤال هنا يا شباب؟ في شيء مو واضح؟ Any question here? Is there anything that's not clear? تسمعوني يا شباب؟ أي؟
Yes.
اوكي يعني ما في اي سؤال او شيء. Alright, so this is very important يا شباب to understand these different 5 states and what does it mean in this case. Also we talked about the critical point هنا يا شباب, and we said the critical point shows that it has, so let's say if you're here, so this is the critical point, and in this critical point يا شباب, by the way, this critical point is specific to each substance. يعني each substance has one critical property or specific or distinct critical properties, and we said this critical point, so this is, for example, it has critical pressure or temperature, critical pressure, critical specific volume, etc. Okay, so these properties are constant for each substance. So these critical properties are constant for each substance. Okay, and this is where the saturated liquid line and the saturated vapor line meet. Okay, أي سؤال على critical point or critical properties before we move on? Okay, today we'll talk about the PV diagram. Okay, we'll talk about the PV diagram, which is, as I said last time, Shabab, the PV diagram is also very similar to the TV diagram. You notice we have this dome here. Okay, this vapor dome or liquid vapor dome. Okay, we saw also this figure, Shabab, is showing the solid. Okay, but we will not focus on the solid. It also shows the solid vapor region. Also, we will not focus on that. So we will focus on what I introduced last time in the TV diagram. So we have the dome, which is the liquid vapor dome, and then we have a liquid region here, and I have also a vapor region. I have also the same critical point here. Okay, I have this line which is the saturated liquid line, and also I have this other line which is the saturated vapor line. Okay, so basically I have the same 5 states: liquid or subcooled or compressed liquid, then saturated liquid, liquid vapor saturated mixture, and then saturated vapor, and then superheated vapor. Okay, so the same 5 different states. So it's a similar features as the TV diagram. وش الفرق يا شباب في التي في البي في diagram عن التي في diagram؟ The only difference here يا شباب is basically the constant lines. Okay, في التي في diagram وش كان البروبرتي اللي it has constant line؟ ها شباب؟ البريشر. طيب في البي في diagram الحين البريشر قاعد يتغير عندي، فاللاينز اللي عندي وش بتكون؟ وش تتوقعون بتكون؟
temperature.
Exactly. So this will be the constant temperature lines. Okay, so I can plot it maybe like here also. So when we look at the PV diagram, I have the dome the same. The difference يا شباب انه the lines here will be constant temperature line, and the trend for it, okay, is opposite to the TV diagram. In the TV diagram لو تذكرون the temperature was increasing with the volume in the single phase regions, okay, along the constant pressure line. في the PV diagram, along the constant temperature line, the pressure is what? Is decreasing. Okay, the pressure is decreasing along the constant temperature line. So this is, let's say, T1, for example, this T2. So we notice that the pressure is decreasing, and you see it here. The pressure is decreasing with the volume along the constant temperature. And you can think of it, ya shabab, less pressure is decreasing with the volume. You can think of, let's say, if you have a pressurized vessel or a tank, there is high pressure inside. Once you try to open this pressure or increase the volume of this tank, you know that the pressure starts decreasing. لأنه المولكيولز, the gaps between molecules start increasing, so the pressure will start decreasing. Okay, so you can think of it this way to just to relate the trend between the pressure and the volume along the temperature line. Okay, so هذا الفرق الوحيد بين ال PV diagram وال TV diagram. في ال TV diagram I have constant pressure line. The temperature is increasing with the volume in the single phase region. For the PV diagram, the pressure is decreasing with the volume along the constant temperature line. So this is the difference between the two diagrams. It will also have, as I said, critical point. It will have these 5 states and very similar to what we have. أي سؤال يا شباب؟
Yes, doctor.
Yes.
This figure, does it describe the sublimation process, or is it like all of them?
So as I said,
Because it goes from solid to vapor.
Yes, it shows the solid vapor region and it shows the solid region, but we will not focus on that. So we will be just focusing on the liquid vapor phase. So to answer your question, yes, it shows that for this diagram here, for this example, or this diagram. By the way, this is from the book, yani. However, we will just focus on the liquid vapor region.
And where is the region where it's all liquid?
As I said, all liquid, you will see it. المشكلة الفigure هذا is not very clear, لكن the liquid will be this here. This is the
And
liquid.
beyond that, it's solid, isn't it?
Yes, so the solid, you can see it here between these lines.
Okay, thank you.
لكن in general, yeah, as a feature يعني, you don't need to think about the solid much here. You can think of like what I plot here. When I plot it, I plot a dome. So يعني خلاص, in my mind, this is a liquid region, this is a vapor region. Okay, and this is a mixture. Okay. يعني you don't need to complicate الفigure. أي سؤال ثاني؟ Any other question? طيب, excellent. الحين يا شباب, so in this saturated mixture region يا شباب, let me actually okay. طيب يا شباب, let me delete this to explain it يعني, you follow with me. Okay, so now يا شباب, I have, let me plot this diagram again here. Okay, let's say I have the PV diagram or TV diagram. All of them are similar, but with the differences we mentioned about the constant lines. احنا لو عندنا compressed liquid, so this is the liquid region. If I have this state here, okay, if I have, for example, the specific volume, خلاص, the specific volume describes this liquid. So I have this liquid, let's say it's at 20 degrees Celsius, it's subcooled liquid or compressed liquid or liquid, only the liquid state. So the specific volume, let's say it has temperature, pressure, and specific volume, let's say V. Okay? خلاص, this volume describes, or this specific volume describes this phase liquid. طيب, تخيل معي, I have a mixture. Okay, I have a mixture of liquid and vapor. الميكشر هذا يا شباب, وش تلاحظون؟ الحين الليكويد هذا, and this is, imagine it is in the saturation state or the phase change state. تمام؟ لو تلاحظون ان الليكويد هذا له specific volume V. Let's call it now VF. Okay? And this vapor, it has a specific volume also VG. Okay? VG. معي يا شباب؟ معي؟ ايش قلت؟ وش قلت؟
Yes.
بكل بساطة ايش كنت اقول؟ كنت اقول لو عندي سب كولد وعندي 1 ليكويد, خلاص 1 فيز انا مرتاح, عندي سبيسيفيك فوليوم للفيز هذا. طيب, عندي 2 فيز ميكتشر او ساتوريتد ميكتشر, ف لكل فيز عندي specific volume or property for each phase. طيب, هل اقدر اوجد something that describes the whole thing, the whole mixture? Okay, this is the first question. The second question is, can I represent يعني, when I look at this mixture, where am I? Am I, for example, here? Am I here or there? Is there a quantity that can tell me where I am exactly? I am, let's say, 80% vapor, 10% vapor. What is this quantity, or what is this property? It's also considered a property. The property, يا شباب, in this case is what we call, here, as I wrote it here, which we call the quality. Okay? الquality يا شباب, لما تسمعون بالquality, it's a property that describes the how much percentage of vapor or how much vapor exists in the mixture. So basically X here وش تساوي is mass of vapor divided by total mass of liquid plus vapor. I can rewrite in terms of symbols. So M of the vapor, in this case the vapor I called it G, so mg divided by mf plus mg. اوكي معناته يا شباب الرينج حق الاكس between ايش وايش؟ ها شباب
from 0 to 100.
This is in terms of percentages لكن without percentage it is between 0 and
1.
0 and 1. Okay, so this is the range of this quality. معناته لو قلت لك يا شباب the quality is 0.3, what does this mean?
30% vapor.
30% vapor.
It's saying that my mixture is 30% vapor بكل بساطة. It's 30% vapor. طيب معناته إذا ال x equals 0, what is my state?
Liquid. All liquid.
All liquid. معناته this is the saturated liquid state. With the x equals 1, this is what? This is 100% vapor, which means which state? This is the saturated vapor state. Okay? وضحت يا شباب؟ In the compressed liquid here, in the subcooled, in this region, and the superheated, X is not defined. يعني we don't define X. X is only defined, or the quality is only defined in the saturated mixture region. In the saturated mixture region. وضحت يا شباب؟ وضحت؟
Yes.
فبالتالي لو عندنا this mixture here لو كان كله liquid, this is the saturated liquid اللي هو 0 if it is in the saturation state, and my specific volume in this case is called VF. So in this figure, this is here, this is my VF. Okay, if it is all vapor in the saturated state, so this is VG. طيب this is clear, يعني إذا كله liquid I am in the saturation وكله liquid I have VF. إذا كله vapor I have VG. طيب إذا عندي both liquid and vapor, if I have mixture, لكل واحدة الليكويد له VF والvapor VG، لكن الميكتشر كامل يا شباب can I find an average for this mixture? That's the question now. Can I find an average specific volume for the whole mixture? Alright, so باختصار if I am here, if I have let's say x equal 0.3, if I am 30% vapor, what is the average, what is this V here? That's the question. Okay, so we need an equation that gives us an average for the mixture for the specific volume in this case. What can we do? Let's derive this relation يا شباب. واضح السؤال يا شباب؟ وش ابغى؟
Yes.
Okay, ال 100% liquid في saturated liquid VF والsaturated mixture VG sorry saturated vapor VG. طيب إذا أنا في النص يعني عندي percentage of liquid and percentage of vapor, what is the total specific volume? Okay, so we use actually we can derive this as the following. التوتال فوليوم يا شباب احنا نعرف ان التوتال فوليوم عبارة عن ايش؟ عبارة عن التوتال فوليوم عبارة عن الفوليوم of the liquid plus the volume of the vapor. Remember, this is the volume, huh? We're talking about the volume, not the specific volume. And the specific volume depends on the mass, okay? So the total volume is volume of the liquid plus volume of the vapor. Okay? طيب, what is the equation between the specific volume and volume? Specific volume equals volume divided by the mass, right? So I can rewrite the volume as mass times the specific volume. Okay, so let's write this here. So I have mass of the liquid times the specific volume of the liquid, which is Vf, plus mass of the vapor times the specific volume of the vapor. Okay? Now, if I want the specific volume of the mixture, what should I divide by? Huh?
The volume.
Now this is the total volume. If I want the total mixture specific volume, I divide by the total ايش?
Mass.
I divide by the total mass. So let's divide by the total mass throughout. So I divide this also by the total mass, and this also by the total mass. What do we notice if we do this? If we do this, this becomes V of the mixture. And what is this يا شباب? These ratios. وش تتوقعون these ratios are? ها؟
Percentage.
ها؟ وش تكلمنا عنه؟
Quality.
Yes. So تكلمنا عن ايش؟ عن ال quality. So this basically gives us X. This is mg over m, the total mass. X. What about this? ها؟ وش هذا يا شباب؟ Can I rewrite it in terms of X?
1 minus x.
1 minus X. ليش؟ لأنه التوتال is total is 1. ليش؟ لأنه mg over m plus mf over m equal 1. Okay? And this is x. So mf over m is basically 1 minus x. Excellent. So the final equation becomes يا شباب 1 minus x times vf plus x times vg. Also I can rewrite it in terms of vf. You can check this yourself. Times x times vg minus vf. Okay? So this is يا شباب the equation that gives you what? If you are in the saturated mixture region and you have a quality, let's say quality 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, 0.9, whatever, you can find an average value for the specific volume. The same thing يا شباب for all other properties. Let's say for the enthalpy, HF plus X, HF minus or Hg minus HF. لو عندنا internal energy U, UF plus X, UG minus UF. Okay, so all properties, most of the properties, you can rewrite them in terms of this quality X and the saturated properties, the saturated liquid and the saturated vapor properties. Okay, ليش؟ لأنه المكسر أصلا عبارة عن the two phases اللي هو saturated liquid و saturated vapor. فعندي ال G property وال F property, and then using the quality I can rewrite an average property for the whole mixture like this. أي سؤال هنا يا شباب؟ أي سؤال على هذه؟ وضحت؟ هل في شيء مو واضح؟
واضح يا دكتور.
Okay. Shabab, if you don't understand something, please ask. No, this is, and as I said, this is very important for the rest of the course. Yeah. So you need to understand these 5 different states. You need to understand these quality. You need to understand the quality. What does the quality mean? How we can find the properties in a saturated mixture region. Okay, so these are very important. Okay. طيب ممتاز. So let's see here. So I wanted to start so the quiz will start in 5 minutes, but I can start it for you earlier if you want. So this is what I wanted to discuss. Inshallah, next class we'll talk about we'll talk about the tables. I will show you the tables, and then we'll go through these tables and show you the tables relevant to these 5 different states. The saturated mixture table اللي shows the 3 states of saturated liquid, saturated vapor, and in between. And then you have the compressed liquid or subcooled liquid tables, and then you have the superheated and superheated tables. So any question? Okay, so let me start since we already let me start the quiz for you a little bit earlier. So the quiz, ya shabab, it's multiple choice. You will find it in the Blackboard under assessments tests. You can just click assessment test. Make sure you refresh your Blackboard. You don't want to cut out, and you need to complete it in one setting. ولا خلاص يعني it goes. So whatever grade you get from this, it's your grade. يعني the quiz grade. It's multiple choice. Most of the problems are conceptual, and 1 or 2 may be simple, small calculation. يعني زي unit my unit and maybe some pressure calculation, يعني simple stuff. So, but it's multiple choice. All of them is multiple choice. Okay.
Can we move back, doctor, or just?
No, you cannot. You cannot move back. So once you finish, you need to move. You cannot go back. Okay. So make sure you don't waste a lot of time. I gave you 12 minutes for the whole thing. It's only maybe 8 problems or something. 8 questions. And inshallah you can do it. Yani. Hopefully it's simple. So let me just change the time here. Alas, okay, the quiz is available now. So please start it. You have 5 minutes to start the quiz. ولا ترى بيختفي عليكم يعني. So please go ahead and good luck.
Doctor.
Yes.
Once we finish, we can leave, right?
Yes, it's fine.
All right, thanks.
So.